Hey, Miss Malekai, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Miss Devereaux?
Doing great, sweetie. Doing great, honey.
Feeling
You know,
blessed. Feeling blessed.
blessed indeed. Living in the times of the Rona, honey. Though you know how she is, honey. Staying in the house and watching
Okay.
a little Netflix. You know.
Okay. Welcome to Two Saved Queens. Um,
Welcome, welcome.
yeah, here we are on a good Sunday. Oh, the weather is nice. I went on a nice little run this morning. Went out on those quarantine streets. Uh, there were more people out than I expected, but she came
Oh,
back.
girl, would you bobbing and weaving, girl? Bobbing and weaving.
Girl, I was dodging traffic, dodging people. Ooh.
Yeah.
A lot of people wearing masks. Well, some people wearing masks, but there was always certain folk of the lighter complexion who's tend to not wear masks as well. I mean, I didn't have a mask on either, but
Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Well, who are you talking about then? If you ain't having no mask, it's so
because
funny
I got
because
run with the mask. What do
well,
you think
why
I
I'm
should?
a little bit late, I was just giving a mask to an old couple in my building because I'm like, this old man, he's probably deep in his 80s, was walking around with no mask. I said, "Where's your mask at, old man?" And I didn't say old man, but you know how it be. So and
Senior
so he said, "Well, I
citizen.
don't have any." So I went and got two masks. I ordered masks by the hundreds from Amazon back in March, ho. From China and
Because if you
shit.
stay ready, you don't gotta get ready.
Exactly, exactly. And I went and took four masks down for him and his wife. They are too old to be walking around with no mask. So
How old do they?
say again.
How old do they seem?
Deep in the 80s. Deep in the
Oh
80s. I
no! Oh no!
Yeah, deep in
They're
the
trying to
80s.
get
You know I got a lot of
like that's too old. You can't be doing that.
you stayed over here with me before. You know it's a lot of old people in this
Oh,
building.
but now I feel sad because I'm like, how many other people like them don't have
I
access to?
know. But I just be giving away masks. It was a delivery girl. She was delivering somebody else's food in the building. I saw she didn't have a mask. She was like 20 something year old blackfish. And I said, "Girl, where's your mask at?" And she said, "I don't have one." So I went up and got her one too, honey. I'm trying to
You really
safeguard
trying
these
to save
streets.
lives. You
I'm
out here
trying to
taking
save lives. I'm trying to safeguard these streets for me too, though, because I don't want nobody delivering my food without any mask on. So, I'm saving me too, ho. I'm saving me.
it's all see, we're saving, we're trying to be saved.
Trying to be saved, live right. You know how it is, girl. I'm living right.
Yeah. I mean, I
So
guess we should explain the title of why we call it Two Saved Queens.
I guess we
Um,
should.
because I'll fully admit I'm not fully saved yet. I'm trying my best. But God's not through with me yet.
God's not through with you yet, though, girl. God's not through with you
Really
yet.
not. Oh, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, and also, but I do fall off because sometimes the world, the news, Republicans, Trump, white people just take me there.
They trying to take you down, ho. They trying to take you
Too,
down.
me too. But at the end, I always find my way back. Usually, it's through talking to you, through talking to my friends. I find peace. I find blessings, and that's what I
Amen.
hope the podcast does for all of you all.
It's
Um,
blessings, bountiful blessings we want to give away, right, girl?
yeah, it's just like, it gives us a chance to get out all that negative. Sometimes you just gotta get it all out,
Got to
just
get it out.
get it out. And then when it's out, cool, you just feel lighter, you're able to move on, and you're able to let those other girls, let them get pulled down by that boat.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
and like what they said, girl, they said, tomorrow's not promised, so cuss that hoe out today. That's how you have to do, girl. You gotta, live now, live in the present,
Especially
girl.
these days now, we don't know how long we're gonna be here for.
You
Miss Earth
know,
is so fed up with us.
she is, yeah.
Y'all fucked up my oceans, y'all burned down my forests. Like, y'all got too many people up on me, and I'm just about to go in on that ass. And, I think that's what, we could get into talking about this quarantine, Miss Corona, and just like how she has come into our lives and truly changed the world. And I feel like a lot of people are saying that, we'll go back to normal after a bit of quarantine. But I just feel like
It's gonna be a
we're
new normal. It's not. It's gonna be a new
yeah,
normal.
that's
We're gonna have PTSD from this. I was watching a movie the other day, and I saw someone go around a table and kiss and hug everybody, and I started cringing. So we're gonna have some
you. So you're
residual.
not. So you're not. I mean, I think in the short term for sure, but you even see long term. You're like, I might just start high fiving girls. Like, hey, girl, like I love you from afar, from 6 feet, bitch.
Yeah, girl. I already wasn't a kissing girl, so I didn't mind a hug now and then. But I already wasn't a kissing girl because I didn't want the
I
herpes
mean,
on
that's
my
the
face.
whole topic of itself about how some queens love to kiss on the mouth. Like I've always,
Yeah,
uh,
girl. And I don't even like to kiss. I barely like to kiss when when somebody's I barely like to kiss when, I'm in the bedroom, honey. So I really don't want to kiss you at some dinner table. I'm just a funny queen because I never wanted herpes on my face. I just was always that type of girl. Like I was a germ free. I was kind of like, a germ phobic girl for a long, long time. So I was ready for this moment, girl.
like this is your moment. This is
This was
like,
my moment. Somebody literally told me this was your moment, because I'd always carried around the hand sanitizer. I used to get this really cute little hand sanitizer from Trader Joe's. Now she's gone now. You can't get her anymore, but I bought her in bulk prior to this. So, a little spray hand sanitizer with a little bit of
mm,
lavender in it, and she's really cute. And I was spraying her religiously for between meals, before meals, after
really?
shaking somebody's hand. I was just that girl because I gotta tell you the truth. I was exposed to a girl with corona on March 12th. I sure was. And
But you're talking about doing this even before Miss Corona really took. You're saying you were doing this even before it?
yeah, I was doing this before then, but my habits from before then probably might have saved me when this came up
Yeah.
because I was working in a certain environment where a girl, she was starting to feel a little bit ill that day. Like I think her fever started that day on March the 12th, and I was working with her. And she got somewhat close to me and was trying to whisper something to me so other people wouldn't hear in our surroundings.
She loves to get up on that ear. She's one of them
She
girls.
is one of those girls, and she tries to get close, and she hugs up on everybody, but she knows I'm not a hugging girl.
Ooh.
She does
Okay,
not
so at
try
least
to
you had
hug
to go.
me.
Because then that would be like, oh, yes, that's on my personal
But
space.
see, March 12th, we had no cases where I lived or we had two in the whole state. So it was like it wasn't really resonating yet. I didn't even realize the risk just yet. And so, but that was our last day of work though, that March 12th. That was the last day. But she had tried to, she had got kind of close to my face. She had whispered to me. And then later in that day, she was like, "Ooh, my lips are so warm. And I don't know, my body feels so warm."
Mm.
And lo and behold, I was taking my temperature for 3 weeks because I didn't know what this bitch had. I didn't know, but she ended up testing positive for corona. So I was checking in with her every day, trying to be a good Christian. Like, how you doing, girl? So did you get those test results back? I sure was. And she tested positive, but I never got sick because I was spraying my hands down, my area down, my shit down.
Mm.
And you know
Where
what
did
else?
that come from? Like, did that come from? Like, did you get sick when you were younger, or was that just something you just always kind of your mom or your dad kind of imparted to you? Like, where did that come
I
from?
think my grandfather, I remember a specific moment when I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old, and I remember really for those early years, I was really raised by my grandparents. And so
Mm.
I was coming out of the bathroom. I flushed, and my grandfather was standing outside the bathroom waiting for me to come out. And I unlocked the door and got out the bathroom. He said, "I didn't hear that water run." And
Mm.
and so
Cool. I didn't hear that water
he
run.
said, "I didn't hear that water run." He said, "Did you wash your hands?" And I lied, of course, and said, "Yes, yes." And he said, "Why are you lying?" He tore that ass up,
Ooh.
and he tore that ass up,
Was he
and
the switch
he just
or
used his
was he
hand.
a
He
belt?
just used his hand.
Oh, he just straight,
Yeah, he
straight
just used his hand, and then
good old
led me
hand.
over to the sink to wash those hands. But you better believe I washed those hands every
Mm,
moment, every time from then. So
that'll-
that stuck with me. I was about 5 years old then. I'll never forget. And
Oof.
and so that kind of resonated with me. And he used to talk about germs and washing your hands all the time. And
Mm.
he was also on that just say no Nancy Reagan tip. That's why I'm not a drug girl either. He was
Yeah, it's a
he was
topic for
that
another time, but yeah,
yeah,
I
he was
mean,
that too. So he,
that
you
probably
know,
saved you too, because Mr. Troya, she definitely has, she got
she
hurt.
had her drug issues, but that saved me too. So that old man really saved my life in a lot of ways. He really did.
Well, I gotta thank him too, because honestly, I think you saved me, girl. Because I was when she started, and I'm gonna look up a calendar. I was on a business trip. I was away. She was traveling because as you know, I'm a traveling girl. So this is like that week of like March 9th. Was that the week? Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah.
that.
You left on March the 8th. I remember you left on March the 8th that evening.
Yeah. So first of all, I really shouldn't take my ass anywhere. And then literally the trip was to London, like literally going to Europe. And to be fair, I know, like a dumb bit. So the reason why, here's why I did it. Here's why I did it. It was like, it seemed like the Trump girls and the Republican girls were in full denial mode. So I was like, I figured I at least got a couple weeks before this shit is gonna really pop off over here. Like I knew it was coming because Miss Europe, she was already going over Miss Europe, and they got those open borders. So as soon as she hit one of them, she was in Italy by that point. So I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna take care of all Europe. So, but I was going to London. I was like, well, those Brits, they already got a bunch of issues with the EU, so hopefully they'll
And to
not,
be to their credit, they don't quite have the open border with the
they
rest of
don't, and
Europe.
that's true too.
Yeah,
That's true too. I mean, technically, it's still more open than like some other borders, but
right, right.
but yeah. So I was like, I feel like it'll be fine. I had my chance to like, I'm gonna go. Cause I really wasn't really caring about this trip, but I was like, let me go real quick. I don't know. Basically, I was going because I don't know the next time I was gonna go. Because the way this was looking, I was like, that cute little summer trip I was looking forward to when I was gonna be up in Paris, being all cute, living the life. That was probably gonna go out the window. So let me go over now, get my little European fix, and then come home and sit my ass down for the next 4 or 5 months till this end of the world is over. So I get over there, and if it seems legit. Like I was hearing that like, oh, some restaurants are closed, or some people are kind of like, not going out, but it seemed like a pretty normal. And I had a little bit of jet lag, so I was just like, sometimes some nights I would just have trouble going to sleep because Miss London, Miss UK, she's 8 hours ahead of us. And I think it was on Thursday that I just had a bit of jet lag, and I had been over doing some work thing that child I really didn't want to be there for. So I was already over it. So I was just staying up, being like, oh, I don't want to go to this job tomorrow. And I was like, let me just, but the thing what I was doing was like, I was checking the news every day. Cause I was like, girl, I just need to just be knowing, okay? Especially because I'm over here now, even closer to Miss European epicenter. I need to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That news, and then I saw this little Washington Post pop up, and it said Trump is giving a travel ban for Europe.
Miss DJT is about to shut your ass down when she
And I
She
said,
was.
a travel ban. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember the last time she gave a ban, that was some serious shit. So I was like, so what did I do? I was like, let me call my girls. So I called you. I called one of my other friends. I was like, girl, what do you think about this? Because, I wasn't, some people, as soon as they read that, those bitches were packing shit up, running. Okay. I was like, let me read all of this.
And to be fair, the
Let me
ban was
read
for
all of this.
continental Europe at the time. It wasn't for the UK just yet.
Right.
It wasn't for the UK
Yes,
just
it
yet.
was for continental Europe.
Yeah.
And the other point that a lot of people didn't realize, and that's why they didn't read that fine print. That's why, to be fair, he didn't say it, but they didn't read that fine print. That's why they ended up paying $2,000 for prices back from Paris. Is that you as citizens would be exempt either way. We would still be able to come back, even though the ban was more about
foreign citizens primarily.
So the
But
other girls
some girls paid up
maybe
to $20,000 for a flight back from Paris.
was it 20,000? I thought it was only
No, some paid up to 20,000 to get on the
right, because
get
there
those
were
last seats.
families. There were families, and yes, that if you got a 4 or 5 person family, that adds up. ooh. So anyway, I saw that, and I was like, this looks a little fishy. And by that point, this is Wednesday. Sorry, this is Wednesday. I was supposed to fly back on Tuesday. So I was like, maybe I'll just move it up to the weekend. So I called you. I called another girl. I was like, should I just move up to the weekend? And what you say, girl?
I said, no ho, leave now. Leave now, girl. Leave now.
She said, bitch, bring your ass
Bring
home
your
now.
ass home, yeah. Go get your groceries together at home. Go,
Right. Well,
go get your house
that
together.
was what I was thinking about. So first off, as it was the right decision either way, because what ended up happening is even though you were technically still be able to get back as a U.S. citizen, the cost of, like, I literally was checking airline prices, and literally I was watching in minutes, like in time, as like a airline ticket went from $600, which is already a lot, but $600 to like 1,000, and I'm like, oh bitch, because the girls they didn't care either way. Because the
Yeah.
one thing is with Miss DJT, you don't know what she's
You don't
gonna
know
do.
what you don't know what she's gonna do. And the UK ban came very soon after the Continental Europe ban. The UK ban came right
Right,
after.
because
So
she exempted, right. And the cascading, like what the effects of that were, that there were just less flights, that all those flights were getting booked, so it just became harder. Like, people got trapped overseas. I know someone who got trapped in Morocco. Like, people couldn't get flights, like, because one, they were prioritizing people, or they would be super expensive. So really, it was the right decision. The other piece, as you already alluded to, is, bitch, when she left, because I was about to be gone for like a week and a half, she didn't have no toilet paper. She didn't have no groceries. She didn't have nothing, because I'm about to be gone for a week or so. I'll just
yeah.
do it when I'm sure I'll have some time. I now. By the time I got back, I literally got back. So I got flight that Thursday, got back that night, went straight to the grocery store. Toilet paper was gone. It was all gone. It was all gone. But I still had the groceries, so she started getting those groceries, stocking up on that, trying to get some cleaning products.
You have to start using the fleet, girl. You don't have no toilet paper, girl. You have to use the fleet.
Well, girl, some of the girls have been talking about Miss Bidet, but I'm not. I should maybe look at investing in her. But no. Well, first of all, I'll take any wipe.
Oh right.
We don't really got to go there, but a wipe is a wipe is a wipe. Like,
Yes,
maybe
yes.
white, baby white. Like, when it gets down to it, I just need something that I wipe my ass. Now, what some of y'all dumb bitches were doing with the wipes and the paper towels was then flushing it. And it's like, bitch, no, you don't flush that down the toilet, because the
Yeah.
toilet's only for toilet. Oh, but I'm a travel girl, so I know sometimes,
Yeah,
toilets.
yeah.
Some of y'all girls don't know that. Oh, wait, let me.
A lot of girls don't know that. They are flushing wipes, honey. But they make flushable wipes that are not really flushable. They advertise as flushable, but none of that shit is supposed to go in the toilet.
Really? So even the flushable wipes aren't
They're
flushable?
not really. They're according to like city municipal systems, they're not really flushable.
I thought they would be like, oh, they dissolve more when
They
you
don't
flush them.
dissolve to the degree that toilet paper does, and so they create those bergs. They create blockages in the plumbing, like the municipal plumbing systems. Even the flushable wipes are no good
Yeah.
for
I
flush.
live in that building. My toilet she makes all kinds of noises. So I really don't want to try her. She's still good. She's been good to me for 7 years. So she's only been need to be checked like once or twice. But I don't try her. I don't mess with
Yeah,
her.
don't mess with her. Don't mess with her.
So, but honestly, girl, yeah, you saved me. Like, you at least saved me some time, some stress. Because when we came in, like, it was smooth. Like, I just said hello to Miss Immigration. I was like, hey, girl, I'm coming back. Barely any line. Missed all of that.
Oh,
Now, the
good.
week,
Now, a couple of days after that, though, you saw those
okay,
immigration lines.
okay, those
Yeah,
photos of her and Miss LAX, Miss JFK, they were a different story. The girls were catching
yeah.
corona on those
They
lines.
were catching corona in the lines, girl. Yeah, they
It's not funny. I'm
were. Because I mean, those arrivals halls were like
not.
packed. It was a
And
nightmare.
just like long, like a long. First of all, immigration can be long, but it was even worse. Like, it seemed off. So that just
Yeah,
saved. Like,
you came
doing the
home
good
right
work.
in
That's
time.
what we're about here. Just
You came home right in
doing.
time.
So yeah,
So
that
when
was
I
my start with her. Mm.
And so for me, like, because you left on March the 8th, but I had honestly been preparing before you even left to go to Miss
When
Europe.
did you start preparing? Like, when did you see, like, this looks like this ain't no SARS. This ain't no just a little bird. This is something we all gonna have to get ready for.
You
When did you
know,
feel?
what alerted me to that? So okay, so she was in Miss China, of course, and SARS, like back in 2003, was mostly contained to China. It got into Canada a little bit too, but it was really primarily contained to those two countries. There was a small outbreak in the Toronto area, but it wasn't really a global phenomenon. But when I saw, okay, China has this huge outbreak, that's scary. And then when I saw Miss Italy and Miss Iran having,
Those were the two next ones to get it.
yes, those were the two. And I saw like, they had I think the CIA or some intelligence agency was flying over Iran and saw massive burial sites.
Ooh.
And I knew she was real. And then so when she came to Miss Seattle, and then she got
Was
into
that her first stop in
that was her
in
first stop in the U.S. That was her first stop in the
that
U.S.
was it was Seattle.
I was
Which
like,
now I
okay,
feel like we don't
so
really talk about her, so they must have gotten her in
they
control.
they mostly got her under control, but she was in Seattle, and I was like, okay, it's in one city in the United States. It might be an isolated outbreak, but then when she got to San Francisco in the Bay Area, my brother,
Mm-hmm.
in mid to late February, my brother was just coming back from a business trip from the Bay Area. Right, he was there right when the first breakouts happened in the Bay Area, and I said okay. And I think she had some cases in New York right about the same time she had cases in San Francisco, and I said okay, now she's everywhere.
Mm.
So she's in San Francisco, she's in New York, she's in Seattle. I'm starting my shopping now. I'm starting my ordering now. And I think I
Mm.
went shopping on February 29th, and I started doing bulk shopping on February 29th. Uh, canned goods, toilet paper, snacks, anything that wasn't super perishable. And then I started ordering my mask online starting on like March 1st. I started ordering my mask, I started ordering my sanitizer before the stuff ran out on Amazon and other sites. So around February 29th, March 1st, I had already started ordering things and my grocery shopping. And I probably went that week of February 29th to March 1st. And then that following week, I went to the grocery store over 2 weeks. I went to the grocery store 8 times
Mm.
to do all my shopping. So by the time you had, yeah, so I was pretty deep
And
into
at
like
that time, this bitch was in another country trying to
yes,
dodge her, playing games.
yeah. So I wasn't playing those games.
The
I knew she
germaphobe
was real.
girls, the paranoid girls came. This was your time to shine. This
This
was
was my
it. This was the
time.
moment.
Yeah, this was my moment, girls. Because now everybody, I'm sending masks to New York and Chicago and LA, and I'm sending,
Yeah,
you
there was a New
know,
York girl you took care of.
I'm sending her Tylenol in New York, a girl who ended up getting
Right.
COVID.
The girl, because the New
Um,
York girls, the New York Miss New York, which I think it's a thing that like I feel I can't think of the word for it. I feel like what is it called? Like we're getting pulled in different directions. Like on the one hand, the New York girls are still on complete lockdown. Like this is like the
right,
week we're recording this like the weekend of like April 18th, 17th.
right,
So New York girls are still like locking down, still, they're in the fight. And on the other hand, the Florida girls are going to the beach. Like,
yeah, girl.
did you see that photo of? Now, to be fair, it wasn't Miss Miami, but what
Miss
was it?
Jacksonville. It was Jacksonville.
Miss Jacksonville, which again is a certain demographic,
Right.
maybe a certain demographic that was also doing some protesting.
Right. Well,
But
Miss Jacksonville is at least
she,
30% black. But you know
yeah,
what?
she's got some.
I didn't see that many black faces on that beach though.
Okay. It was funny
That
because
beach.
you can't check our normal news sources to get the real good pictures because they're trying to still play games. But if you go to Miss Daily Mail, if you go outside the country, they'll show you the photos, the real photos of those girls
Oh, they got the real
saying
photo.
hi to each other, and I'm like, that don't look like 6 feet, like that don't. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'll maybe put the link to the Daily Mail article in our show notes. Yeah, the article is really funny because it like showed the photos and then after it showed graphs of how
Oh,
Florida.
Miss Daily Mail.
I was like, oh, they reading us? Okay, Brits. How
Yeah,
about
they come.
I mean, your
They
NHS is going through it, but sorry for that's their national health system that they have there, the national health care that we can't even get close to something like that. But anyway, that's another
That's
topic for
another
another
story.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, Miss Daily Mail will come for the girls though, don't they? They came from Miss. I think they came from Miss Wendy Williams when her husband was stepping out and had
Yeah,
that
she's
baby.
their tab like a UK tabloid is like I mean, those girls kill. They kill
They killed
girls.
Diana. Yeah, those girls. They killed Diana. They killed Princess
Like,
Bride.
let's be real. Like,
Yeah,
TMZ ain't kill nobody. They showed you a dead body or
they'll
two,
show you a
but
dead
they didn't
body
kill
here and
nobody.
there,
They didn't kill.
but they don't kill anybody, honey. But those
Okay, they'll
UK
be the
tabloids
first.
would take a girl. They took out a princess.
Oh,
So
took out a prince. Say it again. Took out a princess.
yes,
Oh goodness.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
girl. So they don't play. But yeah, so I mean, so we're here in quarantine. I actually, really, I was by myself in my apartment, especially after those, few weeks after March 12th, where I technically had an exposure. But my apartment is 800 square feet, girl. She's a small girl. And I was like, you know what? I really want to quarantine. I really ended up going and quarantining with my mom and my brother at their much larger space. And I'm just grateful for that because we cook meals together, we watch shows together. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I kept the mask on a little bit, like around them. I had my own room over there, and then I kept the mask on when I was around
Yeah.
them for a little while. I was taking my temperature every day for 3 weeks too, just checking. But
Mm.
that kind of died down, and we're all good. Really, now I'm checking on them because they don't their habits. It's like I'm babysitting them because I'm a little bit more of the paranoid girl than they are. My brother will
Mm.
walk out and take his runs with no mask on, like a certain girl on this podcast. I don't go outside without a mask on, period. I have a mask when I leave out my apartment or their home. I have a mask on, period. That's just
Yeah.
what it is. And so yeah, but other than that, yeah, it's been good quarantining with someone. Me and Miss Malekai, we were just talking about how now, Miss Malekai, who are you quarantining with? What's going on over there?
Girl, I know why you asking because you know the truth is nobody. Me, myself, and I.
How is
Now,
she,
yeah,
girl? How is she?
she's one of them I can't stand, but the other two aren't too bad. But so I also have a nice little studio. She's at least I'm not just in one room. Like I have like a kind of separate area for a kitchen, and like I kind of have a separate bathroom. And she gets a lot of good natural light. But she
Well, good.
is studio. So thus the running, or thus I took a drive recently, went through because I'm in LA. I guess we never said that. I'm in LA. And Miss Devereaux, you're in
I'm in Detroit, Michigan.
Mr. Detroit. So we're, you know, girls from
Yeah,
different places.
different places,
Um
different places, different spaces.
hoes from different spaces.
Yes,
Um
yes.
so I took a drive. Up to like, oh god, this sounds so pretentious. I took a drive up to Malibu, but again, Malibu is not that far from some parts of LA. But really, I was
Mhm.
just driving. I wanted to get close to the water because our beaches are closed. Like our LA is not playing. Those girls, they really were shutting it down. Like you really the cost. They even closed certain hiking paths, certain walking paths, like the pot. Because of course, the ones where other girls go to get their Instagram photos. They're like, y'all girls are still not doing what we need you to do just to
Mhm.
get cute
Mhm.
for the Instagram. So we're shutting this down too. We're gonna post up police officers on these steps, like literally guarding steps,
Wow.
taxpaying dollars going to your steps.
Good.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Good
yeah, I
for
just
Miss
felt
LA though, turn into a police state. Look at her. But
I
we
mean,
need that during this
she's not
time
as
though.
bad as she could be. There was a moment where like I was like, oh my god, are these LAPD gonna start like pulling people over? Because for a minute when I first got back, so I got back and like I just quarantined myself because I was exposed potentially because I was in a European country in the UK. So I didn't go out for almost 2 weeks. So by the time I did go out, so I still wasn't used to seeing what the streets would be like. And when I did kind of start going out, I was like, oh, there's still a lot of people around here. Because I was almost nervous, like, oh, like, are they going to start asking people where they're going? Because I was like, maybe thinking, like, well, maybe I should go try and see a friend. Again, this was early days before she really realized that Miss Corona is not playing these games. But I don't know. I don't mind being by myself. There was a moment where I was thinking about fostering a dog. Um,
That would be cute. That would be
and
cute. That's a
then
good idea. They said the animal shelters are empty now. They said the girls, everybody went and
yeah.
got them a dog or a
Well,
cat.
the one I was looking at, she was gone in like 4 or 5 days. I was like, well, there goes that.
Oh,
I'm okay. I'm okay. Like, because basically I started this mid March. We're now mid April. I think I think I got another month in me. Now, if we go until June,
Uh-oh.
that'd
Uh-oh.
be that'd be something else. I might need to like, I don't know, because so I mean, we could talk about how the girls who break quarantine and like whether it's worth
Oh
it,
yeah,
all
girl.
that.
Girl, I know a girl in New York, in the epicenter of everything. I know a girl in New York. She goes over to people's houses, like another queen who's a couple, she'll go over to their houses. They hang out, they have dinner. She tries to invite girls over to her place in
She's
New York.
invite. So
She's in New York and she's treating COVID patients. This girl is treating COVID
that's
patients.
wild. I kind of understand the ones where it's like I've been quarantined, and I know for sure you've been quarantined.
Right, right,
We could maybe visit or be closer. I still would give
right.
them some space, but like,
I don't know
just
about in New
I'm
York
inviting
though.
random girls.
I think in New York, those girls, they're so on top of each other. I think those
New
girls need to
York,
separate.
yeah, that's not.
Those girls that you need to be by yourself or whoever's in your home you're quarantining with, and that's it.
Yeah,
And now
yeah. New
Detroit, we
York's
have
a
it
different
bad
game.
too. Detroit, we have it bad too. We're like number three after New York, New Orleans, and then Detroit. Or if you look at it by state, I think we're number three or four. I think it's like New York, New Jersey, Michigan, or New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Michigan in terms of number of cases. And I think, one of the reasons that when you were talking about are the police going to pull me over, etc., the police are scared too. The police in Detroit, there's so many cases among our police. There's been police deaths from COVID in Detroit, and I
Yeah.
see some of the police driving around with no mask here in
Mm.
Detroit. And I don't know if they're being provided masks or what, but it's dangerous for them too. They're not trying to pull people over. They want to stay in their cars and stay away from girls. So I think this is just a different kind of scenario we're in because normally you and me, you know how we are about the police, girl. We don't want the police nowhere near us.
No. And I
And
will say, I got to be fair, I've genuinely had okay interaction with the LAPD. I feel like there was a couple of times I got pulled over. I was like, that ain't fair. That's not right. Like a girl
right,
trying to
right,
shade me being because I was dressed down a bit, maybe I had some sweats on or something, and I was in West
right.
Hollywood, a predominantly queer area, and this butch cop pulled me over and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm going to go see my girlfriend. What are you
Oh,
doing
she was a
here?"
lesbian cop, girl.
I don't know that.
Really? Oh, okay,
Ooh,
okay.
sorry, let me take that back. I don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure. She was giving me butch vibes.
She was
She
giving you
could have
but
just been
okay, got
a
it.
lovely, heterosexual woman that presented a bit more masculine.
Right, right.
But you don't need to be asking me what I'm doing in West Hollywood just because I'm wearing sweats and driving a beat up car. Not all the bitches who come here wear nice clothes and drive nice cars. Oh,
Yeah, girl, but your car, she's a raggedy girl.
you
I mean,
know,
but I feature her. Because she's kept going. She's kept you going for a long time.
yeah. I mean, like,
So
get
she's been
into it. Like,
loyal.
I've been in LA for over 10 years now, and that girl has been by
Mhm.
my side. We have been through accidents and
And she
all
was
types
5
of
or 6
things.
years old then when you got her. You
Mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
she's going strong. She
As long
really
as she
is.
turns on for me, if she don't give up on me, I'm not giving up on her. Her name is Malekai. She's a
Amen. Praise God.
2004 Ford Focus that is mostly white, but has some other colors on her hood and bumper. Due to sometimes that my lovely mechanic, who's like, oh my goodness, care for him more like a dog. Like, he is love of my life. He has brought her back to life more times than I can count. Wonderful Jose, always there for me. But girl, if we got, I mean, we get into cars. I mean, I was trying to, just talk about general things.
Yes,
But
yes. I'm
your
sorry.
girl, which I guess it's
Yeah,
a part of like the Corona conversation, is how this is affecting us. But you were kind of looking to get a new car yourself.
I was pre-corona, honey, when I thought I was gonna, get some more money. I'm a small business girl, so Miss Corona has,
Right.
I mean, I'm good for right now. I personally,
Because
but
you're a
in terms of
paranoid
what.
girl, you would have made sure those savings is right.
Oh
Like,
yeah, girl. I was
some
a Susie
girls.
Orman 6 to 9 months type of girl savings. I was that girl.
Mhm.
I am that girl. But I also don't have. And I went through a couple broke phases where I got my expenses down very low because I was, I had some hard times. So
Mhm.
my expenses got down pretty low. So, girl, I am coasting. 6 to 9 months, I'll be good. If we go longer than that, I mean, I think I might still be good, to be honest. So, yeah, that's honest to God truth. But yeah, just being a broke girl taught me how to save. I think that, and
Yeah.
I think that might be true for you too, right?
Oh
Because you've
yeah.
been through some.
I mean, when we don't have to get into all the details, so early on, when some of y'all just meeting me, but she's been on her ass a couple times. When you've had to like be in a roach infested room or had to like be in your car for a night or two, when you have that, you're like, okay, what do I need to do to make sure I don't, I still want to do things, but I don't need to fall like that again.
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna
And you
do
keep the
me.
expenses low. You stayed in your studio, even with,
That's the thing.
pay increases. You kept your
Like,
expenses low. You got a
like,
paid off car.
yeah, oh yeah, Miss Fokai is completely paid off. Her insurance just dropped down to like $50 because I only pay for is it collision or I only pay for she's not getting replaced, so I only pay liability, liability. I got liability. That's all she needs. She just takes a bit of gas. My rent is rent controlled. She's real cute. Don't worry about what she is.
He will.
She's actually gone down over the years. It was ridiculous. I didn't ask no questions, but I just kept it going. Well, yeah,
Yeah, girl.
I mean
You
the
keep
tech
the expenses low.
yeah,
You
I mean
keep
we
the
kind of
expenses
talked
low.
about
Same
early on
here.
like what, define like one of the defining things for me is like, yeah, I'm not, and what you'll get to know about us is like I'm not a girl who likes to put on airs. Like we're girls who have come from certain circles and have, backgrounds. We're both Ivy League girls. We've you've worked in consulting, I've done different things. I've worked in entertainment. I'm now more of like a traditional corporate girl. But we've come from like, I'm more middle, maybe like middle upper, more middle, and you a bit more
Hmm.
close to upper maybe.
Upper
But
middle, yeah, probably upper
you
middle.
know,
Yeah.
I've just had essentially I just realized all that like, performative, all that trying to give a certain look, all that trying to do certain things, and then at the end of the day, you're still going back to some small place or you don't have no money in that bank account. Like, I'm just not that girl. Like,
Yeah, me
I'm
neither.
not
And
getting to show off.
in my story, it's like, I was doing that way, way back before the girls were doing it. I was wearing the Xenia and the Ferragamo and the
Mm,
Burberry, and I was doing that in high school, girl. So
mm.
like, I was a spoiled girl. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was a spoiled girl
Yeah,
growing up.
we all get dealt certain cards. It is what it
And
is.
even through college a little bit. So when I really had to go out on my own and do it, and at various points, yeah, I mean, right out of college, I was doing pretty good, and then quit a job here and there and tried to do some entrepreneurial things and it got hard. I learned to readjust. I had to
Mm.
readjust. And that was so for me, buying a lot of designer clothes. Honey, I was at the TJ Maxx. When I could go shopping twice a year, or at the Nordstrom Rack, you
Oh, girl,
know.
I was even going to Miss Ross. Miss Ross will still have what I need.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I never got that low.
She like,
I
oh, I'm
never
not
got
gonna do
that
Miss
low.
Ross, but
I never got that low. But I mean, I respect her though. I respect her.
I respect it. I wouldn't do it, but I respect it.
Yeah, but I've had a couple hard times. So, yeah. So for me now, I mean, it's not, well, it's a struggle period just because of COVID. But I'm living as if there's always the potential for struggle because this Miss COVID came up on us pretty quick, didn't she? Like you and me
Girl,
were
back in
scheduled.
January, I was thinking we were gonna be in World War III with Iran, and
Oh yeah, I sure
now
did. Yeah, I did too. And
we
we
dealing
yeah.
with, a zombie
And we were
virus. Okay, not
traveling.
let me
We
not
were
go.
we were in Colombia. You and I were in Colombia in
Mm-hmm.
Cartagena when that Iran when we saw Miss Donald Trump. She killed one of their generals or something, and we
Yes.
thought that was the next war. And she kind of wore off, but Miss 2020 came in with a bang though, didn't she, girl? She did.
Honey, she's
And
just
we
trying
were supposed to
to.
be in Puerto Vallarta next month,
Mm-hmm.
around my birthday, around Pride. But now I'm just ordering two cakes instead, so it's the same difference, right? I'm having me two cakes, not one but two,
mm.
and that's okay. So Miss Puerto Vallarta, she just postponed to another year. That's okay.
Yeah,
And
another.
but we're two blessed queens, though. Even though we've had our struggles, at the end of the day, we're two sage queens and we're two blessed queens because
Yeah.
not only do we kind of, we have each other at the end of the day, at least,
Yeah.
and our friends and our families, and we can't complain at all because there's girls on the front lines, not just the doctor and nurse girls. They have it hard right now, of course, and then we got the girls at the grocery stores. We got the
Yes,
girls
I
delivering
think
our
we don't talk.
food.
Grocery stores are definitely on the front lines. It's so frustrating
They
that
are.
they're still
They
not
are.
getting what they need. Like don't. I just saw a commercial for like we have Kroger, which is one of the big grocery store brands, and they have Ralph's, which is actually a grocery store I go to. And I was like, girl, don't show me no commercial. Make sure when I go to that grocery store, all those people are being taken care of. Don't spend money on
Yeah.
this goddamn
Yeah.
commercial to tell me how you care about your workers. Go spend that money on your
On
workers.
your workers, hazard pay, mask,
Right.
gloves,
Right.
sanitation every
Paid
night,
sick leave, paid health
paid
care,
sick
paid,
leave,
yes.
shorter hours, all of that. Those
Hmm.
girls deserve every dime, because those girls are on the front lines. And here in Metro Detroit, we had four people who worked at Kroger's, including one of my neighborhood Kroger's, who, passed away. Who,
Mm.
and so really they deserve hazard pay. I mean, and Kroger and these grocery stores are making so much money right now. I've never spent this much at the grocery store. Tell
Hmm.
you the truth, I've never spent this much as I'm spending right now at the grocery
I mean,
store.
we're, also we don't have family. I mean, we have family, but we're like two single-ish,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
gay men. So it's like, why do we need to be, I don't need to be spending money like my mom spent on me and my sister and my dad and dogs.
yeah. So I mean, but like now, because for the most part we're eating. At least I'm eating most of my meals in now, instead of going to restaurants and whatnot, or heading to Chipotle and all that. So, I mean, I'm spending more at the grocery store than I probably ever spent in my life. So Kroger and these places, and Target and Ralph's and Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, they're probably making more money than they've ever made.
Yeah.
And so they can afford to pay these girls hazard pay and get them all masks and get them sanitizer and get them everything they need to be able to just survive this time. And
Yeah.
I know they're aggressively hiring too, because every time I go to a grocery store, I see we're hiring signs. They need people.
And I mean, speaking of hiring, like we know girls who also have gotten laid off. Like, my sister has gotten laid off. Like I have another friend who's gotten laid off. Like it's gonna be hard these next couple of months. Like the girls are still, some girls, conservative girls, Republican girls, the elephant girls, they're trying to, just get this economy pop, yank it right back, get it going. And I just think they're a little optimistic themselves. They're in their
Yeah,
own.
they're optimistic and myopic, because if we need to basically get the curve all the way down close to zero, so that because if we start up too soon, it's just going to be more outbreaks and more damage to the
Mhm.
economy. But I will say too, I looked at a statistic in April. A third of people did not pay their April rent. I mean, so clearly this is going to be one of the biggest recessions in American history. Like,
Mhm.
that is a huge number of people not paying their rent in any given month. The usual number is something way less than that.
Mm.
So, and you
Miss
got to think
May's
about
around the corner. Miss May's around the corner.
all the people in service industry jobs,
Hmm.
restaurants, etc. It's just hotels. This is a tough, tough time for everyone. And what we do, you know, do things like, my mom paid her hairdresser for an appointment. I ordered some stuff for my barber, to order to be sent to his house. My mom's cleaning lady, she's paying her for, if you can afford to do some of those things, do that.
Yeah.
If you can afford to help somebody out, tip your Uber Eats and your
And
DoorDash
don't tip
drivers.
the minimum.
Yeah, try to tip a little more than the minimum. If you can do those things, do those things, because this is a time of solidarity.
Hmm.
And for those people who are still getting paid or have resources, this is your time to share those
Yeah.
resources.
Um,
Yeah.
but we're
So
definitely, we are in a blessed situation. And I think we're also girls who I think a lot about how to survive. I think that's why we started, this little podcast, was because this is just our conversation. This is just what we talk about on a Sunday. And we just thought, why don't we just put it out there? Why don't we, share this with
yeah,
people who might need a place to like laugh or, have someone who maybe will say things that they want to say, because we're not always going to be right.
We
know,
are. We are. We're Ivy League girls. I mean, so we have some biases. We have some myopia, however you say that. We don't, we're more middle, we come from more middle class, upper middle class background. So there are things that are lacking in our perspective. We have to put that out
for
there, but
sure.
we really aim to be about that life too. You like to really go in for the girls on behalf of the girls.
On behalf of the
We are.
grocery store girls, on behalf of the girls that got laid off, on behalf of the girls who can't pay their rent, on behalf of like the girls that I think a lot of media and podcasts aren't really, hearing from or speaking to or have around them. Because if you think about it, a lot of people, especially in the political spectrum, those people are millionaires. Like, despite how much they want to, like, get on some speaker box for the working class, those people are millionaires on Fox News and on MSNBC and on CNN.
Yeah, and even Miss Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. Miss Elizabeth Warren is a millionaire. So I don't necessarily think that makes them the enemy at all, but I think that also, that also can limit your perspective too,
Mm-hmm.
even when they're fighting on the front line. So everyone has their biases and their myopia. So I think we just need to keep that in mind. If you have some comments, if you're a girl, you're working at a restaurant, you're not being paid right now, you can't get through to unemployment, to file, it's always busy. Let a girl know what your experience is. Let a girl know what the Cash App is. We could share that. So I mean, I don't know what our audience is just yet, but
Yeah, let
whatever we
us
can
know.
do,
Yeah, definitely,
let us know
reach out.
because
Part of this is to try
um
and put something out there, but also part of it is also to, like, have some action come from it. That, like, what's gonna be happening in the next. Oh, girl, could she do this math? You do it, girl. How much was November? How many months we got?
Miss November is 6 to 7 months
In the
away.
next 6 to 7 months. That's a real moment in time. And I mean, in some ways this is a moment. But I feel like the frustrating part, and also why we started, is I feel like the people talking are still doing the same rhetoric. Like, we're still having these same conversations. Like, girl, no, we're done with that. Like, we're ready to move on. We're ready to talk about what's next, because we're not doing this again. Like, we get it. Miss Biden's the nominee. We gonna deal with her. That's fine, I guess. But we got some shit that he's gonna need to do differently. That a lot of
Yeah,
those
definitely.
Democratic girls are gonna need to do differently. Because if you don't, you're gonna lose again. And really,
Yeah.
we can't do this another 4 years.
And I think Miss Biden, I think she's trying. I think she's talking about eliminating student debt. She's talking about, she is certain things she is doing to appeal to progressives, but I know she'll need to do more for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think
And
that's actually
so
like politically where we are. Like, I think we're both leftist girl or left-sided girl, more liberal girl. I think I'm a bit more
yeah.
left than you, a bit more on that,
Yeah, you're a little bit
you know,
more left than
bit
me, for
more,
sure.
burn it down. But I think you're a bit more practical in that sense. You're like, well, girl,
For sure.
there's only so many votes, and this is how this is gonna work. But at the end of the day, that's where we're coming from, and I think also the reason why we wanted to start this, because we were frustrated by how many of the other side is just putting out nonsense and misinformation and bullshit, and we kind of wanted to, like, some girls are just able to go there, and we want to be able to go there. We want to be able to, like, be honest, be
Yeah.
authentic, and maybe it's a little messy, maybe it's not always gonna fully hit, but we're gonna do our best to speak for a perspective that you don't often hear about.
Yeah, girl, because where's the liberal Ann Coulter? Where's the liberal Miss Milo?
Where's the liberal
Where are
Ben
those girls?
Shapiro? Like, yeah,
Candace, what's that black girl's name?
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens. Where's the liberal version of her girl? She's out here running her mouth, and Miss Tommy Lauren and all those type of girls. I'm gonna be out here running my mouth, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be out here running my mouth too. You know, I'm that type of girl, and I will go low. And Miss Malekai, she will go low too. We do not play, and we got the glory of God on our side, honey. We are saved, and so you can't tell us nothing. So we are saved and blessed and highly favored, and we will speak our minds, honey. Just like Miss Diamond and Silk over there running their mouth to DJT,
Over there
honey.
getting banned and unbanned because they
Yes.
talking about
Oh,
Nazi
they got
macaroni.
banned.
They got banned, girl, because the social media somehow they can't tramp down racism and homophobia and all that, but they have been able to try and handle misinformation about Miss Corona. So yeah, they got banned for talking
Oh,
some
they said she was a
nonsense.
hoax. Did they do the hoax thing? They said she was a hoax, Miss Corona, or Democratic hoax. Is that what they
Um,
said about?
it wasn't that. Let me see. I'm gonna look this up because I want to see what did they say.
I think they said something about Corona and the Democrats, and this is a
I mean,
big.
they probably said that, but I don't think. I mean, there's people who've been saying that on that, on the other side who have not gotten.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was more about the ways to. Let's see, where is. Oh well, they did say a lot of cases, the deaths are increasing to make Donald Trump look bad because these girls
Oh, okay,
love
okay,
Miss
okay.
Trump. But no, why did they get?
They love her.
That's what they got banned
They're
for.
about those, but those girls are, a lot of those girls just they chose a side just to. They saw that there wasn't an opening on this side because we don't have that kind of media space in the liberal sphere
Because
that's so
honestly,
niche and cage.
there's a
And they
really
saw they saw an opening, and they said, "I'm gonna go make me some money. I'm gonna change my political beliefs." I think Miss Candace Owens. I think I read that she was a liberal at one time. I heard the same about Miss Tommy Lauren. Her parents are supposedly liberals, and she just went and she just changed her political beliefs entirely just so she could get a platform, and it worked for her,
But
and it worked
honestly,
for Miss Candace Owens.
there's a great I don't know what to call him, kind of commentator. His name is Carlos Maza. He's on Twitter at Gay Wonk WONK. But he did this really
Mhm.
great video. He used to work for oh my god, was it Vox? I think he worked for Vox. He did this really great
Okay.
video talking about, and I'll put it in the show notes too, but talking about how the way the basically all of our media, all of our news and politics is really through a conservative lens, and how what Fox does, as Fox starts at the furthest end, and ultimately MSNBC and CNN don't really refute it, or they kind of qualify it, but they don't completely disregard it. And they basically, by Fox kind of having so many viewers and kind of them not completely denouncing those things or just giving it a platform, it pulls them in that direction. So even if they're not quite Fox, even
Mm.
if they're not at the same level, they're still,
They're enablers
they're
of
still
that
enabling it
version of
because they're
reality.
still
Yeah.
repeating, or they're still even, they're not just saying that like this is complete garbage or this isn't, this is completely fabricated. They're saying like, well, this is just another perspective. So just you're giving that a platform, you're giving that, you know, them, giving them that means to still pull the conversation over to that lens. And I think that's ultimately why it is, so much more financially not productive in the word lucrative to
Lucrative.
be on that
Yeah.
side. Also, Fox News makes a ton of money, but also yeah, those. I mean, there are people who leave Fox News and then become like CNN commentators. I mean, they've had Miss Sarah on the, the press secretary, whatever her name is.
Oh yeah. What's her name? That big girl. I
Sarah
forget her
Huckabee
name.
Sanders. They've had
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
all
yeah.
those girls on there, and those are Fox girls, or those are people who definitely speak that language. And ultimately, I think we, I love this speech that AOC and Ta-Nehisi Coates did this conversation on MLK Day about his influence and talking about Politics Day. And she made this point that like the Democratic Party really isn't a left party. It's
Hmm.
more like a centrist or center part or center left party, maybe you could even argue, but it has both those aspects to it. And I would argue that that's also what media is. Like I don't think MSNBC is truly left. Like it's probably more
Right.
center left. Like and the same for CNN. Like just because y'all got Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper on there, I don't think that makes you left. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the top, all they really care about is those ratings, and they care about
And really, those girls, Miss Anderson Cooper and Miss Don Lemon, they're not really leftist girls. Like if you're outside the times of Trump, those girls, will definitely interview, a Mike Huckabee or a Mike Pence. Like they are not.
yeah. Well,
They're.
I think there's this idea that like every voice matters, or and it's like
Mhm.
it doesn't. I don't believe that it does. I don't believe every voice needs to be legitimized. I honestly
Yes,
don't.
I
And
agree.
I think
I
that
agree.
there is a thought, there's a journalistic school of thought that you can be both sides. That you need to show both sides. You need to let people have a choice. And it's like, if one person is telling an obvious fact and one person is doing an obvious fabrication, a lie, those two sides aren't equal.
They're not equal.
That's not
They're not
both sides.
equal.
Like, you're not really
Yeah.
it's not being fair to both sides if one is a complete fabrication and it's based on nothing, no facts. Obama is born in the US. Like, the
Right.
other side,
Right.
that birth side where he's not an American citizen. It's like,
Is
why are you
not equally
legitimizing
valid.
that?
Yeah. And they would you know who the main birther girl used to be? Miss Donald J. Trump. You know, they used to interview her on CNN. They used to interview her
Imagine that.
on The
Imagine.
View. And she's even been on Wendy Williams a couple times talking about how Obama's birth certificate wasn't, you know, so even people we think of as allies. And, you know, I know Joy Behar had a show on HLN the other day, and she interviewed Melania and Donald Trump, and they were on there talking about how, you know, around 2011, 2012, how, you know, Barack Obama wasn't a citizen and the birth certificate was fake, and show us the real birth certificate.
Yeah.
And they were given that a platform. And so that's
And
Mr.
then look
JT.
surprised. And then they're surprised. They're like, oh my God, people still believe this. Yes, bitch,
Yeah.
they do.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're not going to
So the
be those type
media,
of girls. We're not doing that. So
we're not doing
yeah,
that.
so we're not that kind of political show. We're not that. We're going to talk about news. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about society and culture to the best of our ability. But we're not going to legitimize that bullshit. So,
Amen. Amen, girl. You know, that's the truth right there, and the light. And
yeah.
so, yeah, and I really, I thank you all for listening. During this time, I know we had extended conversation about a number of good topics, about Miss Rona, about the state of our politics, the state of the media. And we're going to be doing, you know, topical shows every week related to these things. And I think we're going to hit both sides girls. I think we're going to talk more at length about both sides girls. Maybe in one of our
We're not
next
going to
weeks.
talk to them. Well, if we may read them if we have.
We may read them. We're going to read those.
But
we're going to read those.
Yeah, but we will, you know, we will talk about that trend. We'll talk about, and also that trend from like the side of like the left, the ally, that sometimes those girls are just as bad or worse because they make you
just as bad.
Just as the other side, because you know who Miss Ben Shapiro, you know who the other side is.
We know them, yeah, but you don't know the girl. The girl who's in your ear talking about, oh yeah, girl, I'm down for the count, I'm down for the cause.
But maybe they shouldn't have blocked off that highway. You know, do all Black lives matter or do all lives matter?
Do all lives matter? Yeah, girl. Oh, girl, why don't people have their rent in April? That's so crazy. We haven't even been on quarantine that long.
Yeah.
So I don't get why girls can't pay their rent. You know, those type of girls. We're gonna read those type of girls.
Yeah.
For sure.
Come back for that. Come back for different topics around current events and news. You know, come back to get blessed, to get saved, or to get blessed and saved with us. You know, we're gonna save each other.
Yeah.
Stay saved on these quarantine streets. But on that note, you know, like, share, subscribe, tell a host, slide us into their DMs. But yeah, thank you for spending time with us, especially during this crazy time of our world.